Hello, so I want to talk to you guys about something. So remember that time when I said I'll check in with you guys for about 7 days? Well, you see, I couldn't really do that. You want to know why? You want to know the real reason why? Because this thing, when it gets dirty, what I was doing is I either clean this filter around 3 days, alright? Well, probably around 2 or 3 days. And you can see how it turns out still, right? Some people say all kinds of advice to listen. I remember I have cleaned out the filter and changed out the carbon, and I have gotten just fogginess. Some people say that if you put in like chemicals or whatever it's called, or I don't know how to explain. I put in water purifier and it worked with the new charcoal in. So I don't know what those people are talking about. I've saw different results using my stuff. The stuff of like how can not my stuff, not my product, okay? I get the product that's in the store, all right? So I'm trying to explain something. So I don't know when to change. I don't know when would be the day, to actually change carbon filters, but I want to find that out on my own because I hear all these people talk about different kinds of advice, and that there's areas where hey, we can disagree, right? So you know how there's people as well who say, you know what, we could change our filter every 2 weeks, right? Dude, 2 weeks? I mean, like, really, realistically, 2 weeks? No, listen, this thing has gotten so dirty in under 3 days. I have two turtles here, right? So this is what I want you to be fully aware of, is that not everybody's advice is something that, not everybody's advice is like they could speak for, like that's what's best, right? Because you see completely different results when you see something else, right? Because if this carbon filter, like, I don't know how to explain. When I let this carbon filter run through, sometimes I would see that it even was foggy, right? And how can I explain? But that's when I had the water being dirty, and sometimes like I'm okay. I'm gonna have to let you sit here and try to really listen to me, okay? So sometimes when it gets like you see on the top, sometimes like it got really like it looks kind of like little pieces, all kinds of pieces on top. Like if it's getting misty, right? Misty, and it has a really strong smell, right? And then that's to think, okay, you want to change the water, right? So I put this sludge, like this sludge, I think remover or whatever. It's like natural bacteria to fight against, what? You know what I'm talking about, right? So I use that, and I've been learning how to. Okay, you see how you could see through, like you could really see through, You know how sometimes it gets foggy, sometimes it gets misty. When it gets misty, I use some sludge remover. When it gets foggy, I use water clarifier. But before you touch the clarifier or anything like that, clean the filter, alright? That's the best advice I could tell you. Clean the filter. There's people out there who will tell you that you can clean it every 2 weeks. No, listen. I saw how dirty this canister gets. I have this other filter. Now, how could it be so much different from this thing? You know what I mean? But it can be a bit different, okay? It could be different. It's different, okay? But still, in under 3 weeks, sometimes when I feed it and it gets a little foggy, right? Or you can see just pieces, floating around. So when this thing is clean, it'll suck in, and sometimes, like, you have to think about what goes in, right? Because over here, you see from over here, like, it gets sucked in. All the things get sucked in. So bear with me and please hear me out, alright? So I need to get a scrubber to clean this thing, alright? So that's, and then eventually I have to clean the water. But I'm letting you guys know that when it gets misty, I usually put sludge destroyer. Like that cleans out, with natural bacteria. I clean out the filters. How often would I recommend? Around 3 days. Somewhere around there. Not over. Maybe if it goes real nice for you, maybe 4 days. Maybe I wouldn't. I honestly don't think I would probably go around 4 days. I don't know how. I don't know, but not 5 days. Okay. And when you feed it, you see like some things floating, right? I don't know if you feed it crickets, because I had a container of crickets and I would feed it that, right? But of course, if you know about like pneumonia and all that, then you know, okay, put that to the side, right? So my main point, the point of the end of the sword of what I'm trying to point out is, listen, there's people's advices I wouldn't listen to because I have seen different results. You know, I've seen different results. I'm sorry, I have seen different results. I'm not going to take it back. All right. So there's some people out there who end up saying something and then you realize like, hey, I'm seeing the results being really different. Hey, if you really have to, find out on your own. But don't do it out of destruction, you use what you need to use. But what I'm trying to say is clean the filter. If it's really dirty and you don't see if you see it being really foggy or things just floating around, clean the filter. Let it sit overnight. I haven't seen the tank get cleaned up in about less than 30 minutes or an hour or 3 hours, all right? Give it a night. Give it a night, all right? And if it gets bad, then if it looks misty, like it's just misting, like how it's like, how you look at Sprite or like soda, the soda Sprite, all those bubbles, when it gets a little misty with all that, little pieces like, just floating around. Let's see if I can find an example. You see that thing right there just moving around? Of course it's air, right? Or something that looks like that. Okay, that right there, right? If you see a lot of it, and like if the top part looks like you can see a lot of pieces, right? Then I would recommend using sludge remover. All right. If you see a lot of pieces floating around on the top, like that maybe that it's gonna get worse. Like things just floating all over the top, right? But just very lightly, where you wouldn't really think or worry about it. I don't know if you would, but okay. I want to also explain something to you guys. I want to explain this. Ever since this, you see this, how there's like air coming out, so I don't know about you guys, but I'm gonna say this randomly, okay? If you go to the store and you ever see a bubbler, and if you ever thought about it, bubbles and all that, give it a try if you want. Give it a try. Go get yourself a bubbler and let it bubble inside your turtle enclosure. And I know this thing can be able to, you don't have to have all that air pouring out. If I put it deep in, then it's just gonna pull. It's just gonna blow out. It's gonna be invisible. So I like it better like this. So the bubbles on top, well, I need to get some strips, but seriously, you definitely want your tank to be clean, So how long has it been like this? I would say, I don't know, maybe around a week, or a week and a couple days, or either a week. Okay, so this water hasn't been sitting like that for about, I don't know, a month, or I don't think 2 weeks. No, so I'm learning how to like do this my way, because there's people's ways that I don't agree with. It might work out for them. But I'm letting you know that if you want to know when is the day, or how often do you do it, if you ever was to ask me, if you asked me, right, how often should I clean my filter? Around 3 days, okay? I mean, I don't know how big your filter is. I don't know what kind it is, but around 3 days. There's people who tell you 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I'll tell you around 2 or 3 days. All right, around 2 or 3 days. But if you can go on the 4th day and everything is looking good, then all right, then a lot's looking good. And yeah, so this is what I've just noticed. You know, today I changed the carbon, so I mean, the water still looked pretty good even before the carbon. I saw the carbon and it had all these things that was stuck to it. You definitely want to clean the filter, but whatever goes inside. And you definitely want to clean the filter. Like, you can clean it on a sink if you want, and clean it the best you can. And what else? And just don't forget to clean out the, like, where you put all the carbon inside. So, and so this is what it looks like, okay? I'm gonna let you guys know how it looks like in a couple days. So you let me know what's your best advice, alright? And eventually I'm gonna have to, I want to buy some things and then test out how a lot's doing. But so far the turtles, they've just been basking, hanging out. Also, if you guys ever get turtles, get a measurement and see how far this thing should be. That's something that I wanted to say, is get a measurement, make sure that it's exactly where it should be. And if you ask me, well, how did you do this? You know, how did you get this to be on top of this, right? I end up getting this, right? It's like the cover for another, but it's not that big. It's not for this. So, you know, you want to make sure it never falls in here, not even, you know, making sure that there's no accident, no risk of an accident, because you don't want nothing bad happening. But with this is fine, because you see this right here and that, right? So these are the turtles, and this is the basking place, right? Sometimes I realize if something like this doesn't stick, clean the back of it as much as you possibly can, and the glass, and try to put it back in. I haven't cleaned much of the glass right here, but I was planning on getting some things to clean the glass. Now, you know, eventually I'm gonna have to get a scrubber and try to scrub all that. But what do you guys think? And I mean, what do you guys do? Because I have to say this, that I use the polyester for the filter. You know, there's the filter in there, and then there's where an area where the carbon goes, and it's like, you know, it's black. You know, so there's that. So definitely let me know, and I definitely want to tell all of you that, you know, with being very careful, without destruction. See what works out best for you on your filter. Clean out your filter. You don't need to throw away the charcoal so often, okay? Just clean out your filter, and if you want to clean, you know, clean out your charcoal area on your filter, you can, alright? Just experiment and see just how much, you know, when to clean it, because mine is around 2 or 3 days. Now others might be, I don't know, alright? I don't know. This thing is pretty big. It can power, you know, a bigger tank. So if you ask me, yeah, 3 days. You know, if you have a filter, give it 3 days. Mark down the day that you cleaned it, and then give it 3 days. And if it's still foggy, still misty, you still have those problems, clean out your filter around 2 or 3 days, and let me know how that turns out for you. You know, because there's people who will tell you all sorts of advice, all sorts of things, and let me tell you, if you see completely different, maybe there's some people who would lie to you, or lie to a ton of people. Alright, so I'm gonna get to the bottom of this and find out every single fact, and trying to just expose those lies. You know, I want to let you guys know what I do, so it works out perfectly fine for you. But these turtles, I like them. It's very nice to take care of. So, alright everybody, take care. God bless. And I'll see you on the next video if it's the will. Alright, bye.